Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to WQRF's first summer school session of 2025. Join us each month through August, and we look forward to covering hot topics in water all summer long. My name is Lilia, and I'm the project coordinator here at WQRF. Tanya, WQA's Professional Certification and Training Director, is also on the webinar and will be facilitating our Q&A later. I want to give a special thanks to Calgon Carbon Corporation for their sponsorship of the entire summer school series. We are grateful for their support to make this education free for all stakeholders in water. We will email you a recording of today's webinar, but you can also visit our website at wqrf.org/webinars to see the recordings. Richard Mest is our presenter today and will showcase WQRF's powerful suite of free tools designed to help water treatment professionals make informed decisions and drive business success. We'll take an in-depth look at the collection of interactive resources that provide data-driven insights on contaminant occurrence, water quality impacts, regulatory frameworks, and more. Richard is the Director of Special Programs for A.O. Smith North American Water Treatment and President of Master Water Conditioning. His work focuses on coaching, government affairs, product development, and advancing water industry education and engagement. A dedicated leader in the water quality sector, Richard is a past president and active member of WQA, WQRF, Water Systems Council, and Oregon Groundwater Association, serving in various board and committee roles. Richard has played a key role in industry standards and is a frequent educator, author, and speaker. His contributions have earned him numerous awards, including Hall of Fame honors and the 2022 Water Quality Portal Water Quality Industry Icon Award. So with that, I will turn it over to Richard to begin his presentation.
Thank you, Lilia, and welcome everyone. Looking forward to our conversation today. And my goal here is to just hopefully shed some light on the power of WQRF. And I'm going to start it with this slide. WQRF is a catalyst in supporting you, the point of use and point of entry industry. And it's a piece of the puzzle, but it's a critical piece. And I'm going to be taking us back and forth from the PowerPoint to web pages. So hopefully this all continues to work. So just want to bring you to the home page. And if you don't already have this as your primary page, you want to do that because from here you can navigate to almost anywhere you want to go. Part of my presentation, I'm going to break out some of the nuances of the site, but in reality, you start here at more and you just continue going through from the data tools to the education tools, and you're going to see that there's a lot of valuable information. When I look at WQRF, I look at it as a roadmap, and there are a lot of stops on the roadmap, but the first one for me is gaining personal knowledge. I'm so proud that Tanya's part of this as well because she does amazing work to help educate the industry. And WQRF is just another tool for you to leverage as a professional. So when you're seeking out a way to just build a different level of knowledge for yourself, you can go through the WQRF portal and you'll see some of the tools that you can use to add to that. And then, staff knowledge. When you develop a plan, a growth plan for your team, you can use the WQRF portal to build knowledge for them, build experience for them, and measure how inquisitive they are to learn. The other piece of this is consumer marketing outreach. And you'll see one of my favorite things are the 1-minute videos. I kind of like the music, but those videos are so precise in their messaging, and there are so many parts of the WQRF's toolbox that you can pull vignettes from research summaries, from the videos, from the contaminant map, and you can develop your own consumer marketing outreach with that. Sales presentation content. You know, if you have a more sophisticated IT driven presentation where you're at a kitchen table, you can incorporate links like I'm doing, and you can bring certain parts in, like the contaminant map for the zip code. Or if it's a particular contaminant, you can bring a technology in. Or if it's about a water softener and there's concern about what happens to the on-site septic when it comes to water softener discharge, you can pull all those links right in. A contaminant knowledge base, I've referenced the map several times already, but there are a lot of resources within WQRF that, again, you can build your knowledge base going in. So if you know that there's a lead concern or a PFAS concern or something else has happened, say a weather event, then you as a team lead or as a salesperson can get ahead of the curve and look at WQRF to build your knowledge bank around that contaminant. And then regulation knowledge base, and I should have corrected that. Sorry, Lilia. I spelled base with two A's. And to understand, where the regulation space is. So when you look at lead reduction, and have we been successful leveraging point of use and point of entry somewhere for compliance? Yes or no? And then a technical portal. Again, when you look at some of the researchers that we've partnered with and a lot of the amazing information they've provided us to grow our industry, it's pretty wild. So we're first going to go to the kitchen table toolbox. To me, this is a great landing zone, and we're going to take off and see if we land. So when you look at the toolbox, again, this is a powerful link for you if you're doing a sales presentation, and it can bring you right into these portals. And I'm going to look at these individually. You have the soft water savings calculator. You have the search by zip code for contaminants. You have the 1-minute videos, kitchen table talk, public education, and then it draws you right into the research reports and summaries. So WQRF put this together with the voice of the customer, mainly our dealers, saying, we need more tools to help apply our products to make a difference for our customer. Can you consolidate this so it's easier for us to navigate? And that's what the team has done at WQRF. I think the first one I want to do is let's try some of the 1-minute videos. So when you look at this portal and you look at the different tools we have, the first one I'm going to play is the toolbox itself. to me, that's what I would be using to train my team. So when you look at the capability of the toolbox, and if you have your weekly education team meetings, um, it would be a it would be a great way to launch how you leverage what WQRF can do. And I want to go back here and look at a couple of others as well. One of the things that still drives our industry is water softening and really understanding and helping reinforce the benefits of that. So I want to play the benefits of energy savings and water softening for you. As you can see with that video, it's a generic way to show your customer what water softening is that has no brand related to you. So it's a third party voice to help talk about that. And then when it comes to water softeners as well, in certain states, we have some discharge issues. So I just want to follow up and show you the one about diving into the data, water softeners on septic tanks. As that video shows that water softeners, again, if they're applied correctly, and if you follow all of your local codes, they can make a huge difference. And there's a lot of misconception about what happens in that on-site septic system when you discharge. And again, water softeners still are the backbone of a lot of products that are sold today. And I think it's really important to understand all of that. Looking at water softeners, I want to come over to the WQRF benefits of softened water. And this gets us into the consumer marketing side. So when you look at this tool, we show you ways that you can help promote what reducing hardness can actually do and how it benefits. And one of the best things that I like is looking at the calculator. And I'm going to kick right into this. So do you know the hardness level of your home? And I'm going to say yes. And then I'm going to select, I'll start low. And let's say I have 5 grains per gallon. This is showing me that I'm going to reduce my soap usage by 50% and my dishwasher detergent by 15%. Now, this is where you can really get into get very granular with this, and if you don't already, look at an inventory of soap products in your own home, and then you can talk to your consumer about this, and then you start looking at the dollars you put back in their pocket when it comes to some of the savings, 50%, 15%, 3% on energy cost, 75% more water pressure in their shower head. And I'm going to let me go back. Bear with me here. And now let's look at something that is a little higher hardness, and let's go to 25. 50% on laundry, 73% on dishwasher, 19% on energy, and again, 75% on water pressure. So you'll see the calculator continues to reflect what hardness actually does, and they pull this data from behind the scenes from all the good work that was done through different studies that we have. And then let's go to the contaminant map. This was started back in since 2018. And this is based on a database that WQRF has from public water systems around the US. It encompasses 183 different contaminants, 131 million points of data, and 50 states representatives. So understand when there are other vehicles that people use to find out what's in the water. There are the consumer confidence reports for every public water system that has to be published annually. So you can always go into that database. But going into this as well as a different layer of information, I think makes a lot of sense. And what this information talks about is finished water. And finished water is as it says here, provides you with information that's closest to what comes out of the tap. And then the common contaminants, again, we're looking at the 90 contaminants that also now includes PFAS from around the country. Specific to PFAS, we aligned with USGS to get information from their PFAS mapping. And then we go to the mapping tool, and I recommend if you haven't used this yet, you spend some time working with it. There's a lot of data, and WQRF is continuing to polish this. So if you have any ideas in how they can improve the tool for you, I know Lilia will be thrilled to hear from you. So if you look at this, and I'm going to go into where I'm at right now, which is in Delaware, and let me put my zip code in. And now it's going to zero in, and I'm going to just randomly double click on something. And Lily, let's see if I get lucky. All right, here's the data. The nitrate level in that public water system is 0.71 milligrams per liter. The copper is 0.04. My iron level is 0.13. My sulfate level is 1.72. And you'll notice that there are a lot of others that show a zero. And then if you stop on any of those, it gives you a definition of what that contaminant is. And if there is a MCL, be it primary or secondary, it will show that information. This tool is tremendous for you to, again, if you look at mapping out a product offering, when you hear about a contaminant out there, you can come to the tool and you can take a look at your marketing radius and you can start uh, clicking on all those bullet points or dots of public water systems that are out there, and you can start developing your own database with the tool. Um, this tool again has there's a whole seminar just on leveraging this tool, but I'd encourage you, if you currently are not using it, please do. And if you are using it, spend a lot of time with it because there's tremendous value and you can drill down into particular contaminants as well as you go through this tool. I want to come over here to the public education piece of the portal. And I have to tell you, I use WQRF all the time when I'm going to, especially if I'm going to work with a legislator or their staff or a regulator, then I am coming to WQRF to see exactly what ammunition I can have to help support my case. And one of the things that we look at in our industry is how do we take our products that are certified for their efficacy, how do we take those products and leverage those not only for a consumer on a private well, but how about a consumer on a public water system, or even better, how about a small public water system that could leverage our tools for compliance? So there is a lot of good information out there regarding what our products do. And one of the ones I like is this one, which Kelly Reynolds had done. I'm going to play that now.
Hello, my name is Kelly Reynolds, Professor of Environmental Health Sciences at the University of Arizona Zuckerman College of Public Health. With the support of the Water Quality Research Foundation, I and a team of drinking water experts have developed a series of video briefs aimed at increasing consumer knowledge relative to drinking water quality and point-of-use treatment options. You'll hear leaders in the field and local service providers discuss topics such as outbreaks and disease in the United States, regulated and emerging chemical contaminants, unique risks of private water supplies, taste and odor concerns, preparing for an emergency, and the pros and cons of point-of-use treatments. We hope that through these outreach videos, you will have an increased awareness of your drinking water quality and feel better able to make decisions on potential treatment needs to maximize your health and wellness and that of your family.
I'm going to come back here again and navigate back in. So when you look at contaminants and risk, I want to play this one. This is emerging contaminants.
From 1971 to 2014, there have been only 105 documented waterborne outbreaks from chemical contaminants, resulting in about 5,000 illness cases and 6 documented deaths. But health effects from chemical exposures are not always immediately known. Long-term illness such as cancer and other chronic diseases may manifest over time. Combined exposure effects are another concern, but we are not very efficient at studying mixed contaminant exposures and associated health outcomes that may manifest decades later. Subtle changes in childhood development and wellness indicators may be linked to repeated exposures to environmental toxicants that are found in water and air that we're exposed throughout our lifetime. Up to 400 major chemicals contaminate the world's rivers, and over 70,000 different chemical substances are currently in use. In the United States, 700 different chemicals have been detected in drinking water, and about 129 of those are considered highly toxic, but the levels we're exposed to are usually very low. The Environmental Protection Agency has set legal limits on over 90 contaminants in drinking water. Examples of contaminants regulated under the 1974 Safe Drinking Water Act include arsenic, benzene, lead, and nitrates. For many carcinogens, including arsenic, there is no safe level in water. Any concentration can initiate harmful effects in humans, but complete elimination of the hazard is sometimes not reasonably feasible in some impacted regions. POU devices are capable of removing up to 99% of arsenic from drinking water supplies, and they offer an option for reducing exposures beyond the capacity of many municipal treatment facilities. Because arsenic is also naturally occurring in soil and rocks throughout the U.S., private groundwater supplies that are not monitored and treated may pose the greatest exposure risk. Many more known and potential hazards are not formally regulated. Emerging contaminant classes include pharmaceutical compounds, endocrine disrupting compounds, pesticides, detergents, fire retardants, and disinfectants. Beginning in 1998, the EPA formed the Contaminant Candidate List, or CCL. This list identifies unregulated but priority contaminants where more research and monitoring are needed, and this would be to develop future guidance or regulation. The list is updated about every 5 years. Contaminants such as PFAS, the forever chemicals, chromium-6, and disinfection byproducts are all on the most recent CCL list. This list includes 97 chemicals and 12 microbes. For many people, these risks are not acceptable, and the controlled treatment at the point of use provides an added assurance of a final barrier that's designed to improve water quality, taste, and health.
When it comes to our point of use and point of entry products, again, when we start diving into treating water for health-based contaminants more than aesthetic, so for iron and sulfur and hardness, they're really important contaminants for us to deal with. But our biggest opportunity is really making water better health-wise. So we've been dealing with lead for a really, really long time. We now have PFAS that's in front of us, but the emerging contaminants are going to continue to be a concern. And WQRF is working diligently to make sure that we're on the cutting edge with the research to make sure you have the tools you need. Again, I'm just trying to take you through a few samples of those. I'm going to take you now to where the research reports and the summaries are. Some of these just going down through the list. So you'll see a contaminant occurrence map, which we looked at. This is a really interesting one. The investigation of PFAS surrogates for point of use of point of entry treatment devices. So what this has done, and if we just click on this, it will take us to different summaries and reports. So you have access to these now. Let me see how far I can go in with this, Lily. Okay. So this gives you the report and the summary. And what it talks about is having 16 PFAS contaminants being identified by testing one. And this is huge for all of us. So imagine when you can test one contaminant that represents so many. And I'll show you another research project that WQRF have done in the past that really made a big difference when it came to contaminants, VOCs, and SOCs. So this is something that, again, I think when you look at some of the reporting that WQRF has done, it really gives you a lot of power in your voice with your customer and your staff. Sorry, I have to keep coming back and forth with this a little bit. I spent a lot of time in this section. If you look at Safe Drinking Water Act, point of use and point of entry rules and usage, protecting public health through predictive modeling, understanding public awareness and decision making on using water treatment. And if I just click on this one, mean, sometimes when you're trying to provide a solution for a consumer, and they start asking, well, can you talk to me about maybe other areas where this technology was used? Take a look at this study. It looks at case studies in Arizona, in California, in New Hampshire, and in Oregon, and also comes with a 1 minute video. So these are, again, I'll click on the executive summary. This is all information that you can use in educating yourself and your team, building it into a consumer outreach program, and also working with your local regulators and legislators to talk about the products that you offer that are certified for their efficacy on a particular contaminant, that you can leverage this information to help them understand that this is this isn't necessarily a novel idea. It has some legs underneath it, and we're using more and more of our power at WQA and WQRF to give more examples of that. And I'm going to go back into here again. Emerging contaminants, we talked about that a bit. Sustainability comparisons of drinking water treatment approaches. Again, this is more when it comes to Safe Drinking Water Act compliance. But again, all of this information is really, really critical for your success. The cost benefits of the use of water treatment devices, boil water notices in the US. And let's take a look at that one, because part of what we do as professionals in water quality improvement, we want to make sure that we build insurance into the drinking water system or the water system for our consumer, regardless if it's a small home or it could be a hotel, that we take a look at what types of contaminants might be present. And again, this is boil water notices between 2012 and 2014. It's a study, and you start looking at some of this data, and you will be surprised how many of those actually occur. Again, it helps you build a case to help sell your services and your products. Also want to talk a little bit about the some of the webinars we have, and I I really want to promote that you look at the WQRF Contaminant Occurrence Project webinar. And there are three reasons why. We had Kim Redden talk us through the use of the map and the materials available. We have Carly Sampson, who talked about the data collection methodology. And to me, most importantly, is Toby Thomas, the guidance for communication. What Toby shares is, what's the ethical way to take this information and have it make a positive difference for you and for your customer? Because we always have to be careful about how we present the data. It always has to be data driven, and you leverage the tools following the code of ethics for WQA. Softened water toolkit. Now, we looked at some of this already, but oops, sorry. But I want to jump back into this and show you some of the free downloads. So when we talk about consumer outreach, you can click on any of these, and you'll notice they give you the template, they give you the language, and you simply just have to apply your logo. So 5, how soft water saves money and protects appliances. Top 5 reasons to have softened water. And then they come in flyers as well. And then, of course, at the bottom, we have the calculator. And then I want to take a look at the webinar side of this portal. And I think personally, this is where you can achieve a lot of knowledge and growth that you can share in your application lens as well as with your team. And right now, you're participating in the first summer school, but we have one on counterfeit filters coming. And then we have another one in July on what happens to PFAS after water treatment. But most importantly for me is take a look at all these webinars. You can take these at your pace. So again, you can build a program for self-fulfillment. You can build a program around your team and growing their knowledge base. And we have everything from emerging contaminants to the future of PFAS to the surrogate study to poster presentations. You'll see that there's a toolbox talk, PFAS forecasting, what you wish you could know about PFAS, what you wish you could unknow about PFAS, and then looking at protecting public health through predictive modeling, understanding public awareness, the WQRF contaminant occurrence map, household point of use pathogen study, counterfeit refrigerator, boiler water notice, but you just go on and on about all of the information that we provide. And I'm just going to hit on this one real quick.
Hey, good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, depending on where you are. Thanks for joining us today for Water Quality Research Foundation's In the Know webinar series. This is our first of 2024. Happy to have you here with us today. I am Callie Matheny. I am the Research Operations Manager, but also on the call is my partner in crime and our Senior Program Research Manager, Kayla Harriod. We're happy that you guys have been able to join us today. Really quickly, just some quick housekeeping notes. You'll have access to today's
I wanted to actually, let me jump here. If I can do that. No, that's giving me a problem.
I think a lot of people don't realize how.
Sorry about that. I was waiting for that to happen, Lilia. I was so good so far. So when you look at the webinars, again, this is part of our portal at WQRF that helps you get better at what you do and again, sharpens your lens on what you should be thinking about when it comes to certain contaminants. We've got treatment options. So if you go to WQRF's website with treatment options, you can explore all of this information, benefits of treatment, types of treatment, product certification resources, and all the related videos to this. So again, you can build your presentation for your client around this, but a different way to package the information that we have for you. And then drinking water contaminants and risk. We go back to the emerging contaminants, again, looking at waterborne diseases, and again, packaging our messaging in a portal that enables you to maybe fine tune your presentation and collecting all the appropriate webinars and videos that would be associated with that. And then PFAS, which again is something that continues to drive a lot of what we talk about, especially when it comes to potential compliance for small systems. This is the PFAS symposium, which if you didn't get a chance to go to, it was really amazing. And this is, if you're interested in PFAS, which I'd be shocked if not everyone is that's participating today, but take a look at this portal because this will give you incredible level of knowledge from where PFAS came from, where it's headed, the panelists that we had at the symposium. But again, this is an amazing site for you on our portal to talk about contaminant true concern. So let me go back over here. You know, we talk about WQRF and we talk about what I just went through today. Hopefully what you've learned is it's all about opportunity. It's opportunity for your personal growth, for your team's growth, for educating your consumer, for your outreach to legislators and decision makers that can impact your business opportunities. Uh, Talking about your applications and how you sell solutions to your client, regardless if it's 1 gallon a minute or 500 gallons a minute, really doesn't matter. WQRF is there to be a resource for you, align with WQA to help support you as you grow your business. Upcoming events, we've got, I already showed this before, I want to show it again. Our next session is June 25th on counterfeit filters at 11 a.m. Central. And then on July 23rd at 11 a.m. Central is what happens to PFAS after water treatment. And with that, Tanya, I'll throw it over to you and I'll stop sharing.
All right. Thank you so much, Richard. You all should have a Q&A button on your Zoom window. Please use that to put in any questions you might have regarding what Richard has presented or WQRF resources or anything else related to today's topic. And there was actually a question that we had related to the contaminant map that ended up in the chat. So that meant that only the hosts got to see that one. But I think it was a good question and worth bringing up, even though Lilia has already provided an answer to it. I think it's worth sharing with the rest of the group. So the question was that looking at the contaminant mapping tool for Jacksonville, Florida, Alachua County, I hope I pronounced that correctly, the map showed that it showed the water system, but the system says no data for all categories. So Richard, could you speak to that a little bit? Why is there no data?
Yeah, so there are some locations on the map that you'll find that there is no data presented. And um, they ended, so the firm that we align with for this project, they had data points for public water systems around the country, but not every system in the country that's on that map actually has data reported because it's only what the system reported to the state. So um, that's something that we're continuing to work on, Tanya, to make sure that we can fill that in, but we really have no control over that. But if it shows 0 on everything, that means that that data wasn't reported in to the system. But then what I like to, if you don't mind, can I share my screen again?
Sure.
Okay. This is where you want to go. This is the EPA's portal for the consumer confidence reports. So if you go to epa.gov/CCR, when you navigate through here, you can actually get to your local CCR and you can download that water report specific for that public water system. And that's something that I always think is good to have, especially if you're dealing with a public water system. Use the contaminant map that we have, but also go to the CCR report for EPA at this portal.
Excellent. Thank you. Another question has to do with how free are people to use the content from WQRF? Are there any restrictions?
Wow. As far as I'm aware, Tanya, there are no restrictions for someone to use it, but that's something actually, Tanya, that's a really good question. I think that's something we should bring up with Mike Sennett, but it's open to anyone that has access to it. I think the biggest thing is the ethical use of the information would be my answer.
I would agree. And actually, it wouldn't hurt if you could, when using the information, if you could reference WQRF as the source.
Absolutely. Totally agree.
We had a question on the calculator. So for the soap savings calculator, what year were the dollar costs coming from? I guess the question is how accurate is the pricing, if there are
That,
pricing?
that would have been, I think, 2023 or 2024.
Okay.
But Lily, I
And
think that's something for you to take a note of how frequently that dollar figure's updated. I know that's talked about annually, but I believe the data, the most recent was 2024.
right. Are there, we have a thank you for this information and a point that there's always something new and updated on the WQRF website. And I personally, I'm quite impressed myself. Richard or Lilia, could one of you speak to maybe how frequently we can expect additional information to come out?
Lilia, do you want to say anything about that?
Yeah. Um, so we will be updating the website whenever there's a webinar. So webinars will be frequently updated whenever we have them. And then as our research studies are completed, we will be updating our research summaries and reports, infographics up there. And then the contaminant map updates every couple of years. And it is currently updated up and through 2023 data. And we're working on updating that to go through 2025.
Excellent. Well, that seems to be all of the questions that I'm seeing. So Liliana, handing it back over to you.
Thanks, Tanya. So I also wanted to note that WQA certified personnel can earn 0.1 CPD by attending this live presentation. For additional credit, you can complete a short quiz. So be on the lookout for an email from the certification team stating when this quiz will be available. Most likely should be by the end of next week. So since that seems like all of our questions for today, if anyone has any additional questions, you can email us at foundation@wqrf.org. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you when school is back in session on June 25th.
Thank you, everyone.